Are you really working for the collective well-being of the Nigerian people?
For sure.
How is it that some states workers are owed 3 to 4 months salaries and labor did not strike then?
Comrades, the NLC is the amalgam of labor unions. In our respective sectors, we have issues on a daily basis, and our respective unions deal with those issues. It's only when it goes beyond the power of a particular union that it calls for the attention of other people. In my sector, for instance, there are issues that I invite the NLC to say, look, let's deal with this stubborn employer. Let's deal with this recalcitrant employer. And so when a matter is not tabled for the collective action of others, you cannot collectively say, we want to deal with this. Yeah, because there are, each sector has its own problem.
We're not talking, it's not sector now, we're talking about states. At least 20 states are owing salaries to their workers. NLC did not make any move, did not strike at that time.
But the labor unions in those respective states are taking action. It may not be NLC as a group. There are also issues, there are also states, I'm aware that in Osun, NLC intervened. I'm aware that in Imo, NLC intervened. But there are also other states where the group of labor unions are taking action together and they are engaging. Those engagements may not be in the public realm. They do so every day. The Joint Negotiating Council is a combination of unions in the public sector. And they do negotiation with government in their respective states. And they have some power, some measure of power to engage in the respective states. So if they think they are making progress in those states, then you may not see the NLC. You may not see the NLC going there. Then in Osun, the JNC, the local NLC, everybody made efforts. And they appear to have hit a brick wall. And the national body intervened. Well, the same thing happened in Imo. But in other states, every other state you see, if you go in, you discover that the unions, either as one or two, or as a group under the umbrella of JNC, so they are dealing with those issues.
If NLC could then allow those states to engage for months, I believe that's for months, how come they don't call this strike on Friday and ask people to hit the street without even engaging?
Now, I don't know what happened during the initial process of engagement. I don't know what happened. But the truth is that NLC has never said, we are not going to dialogue again. We'll do this strike forever. We never said so. If you understand the process of negotiation, you also know that it's also some measure of power between parties. If the government knows that the Nigerian people will live happily with 145 naira, I'm sure they will not discuss with anybody. If the government knows that nothing will happen, the Nigerian people will keep quiet. They could possibly adjust it to 200 tomorrow. But even without exacting it, the possibility that the other party, that the people will react, will make government on this side to reconsider, to think through his actions. But what are we saying, even on this matter, if you listen to people in government, today you hear the regulation, tomorrow you hear, no, it's price increase. Next tomorrow you hear, we are broke.
What do you think it is?
The truth is in between those things they are saying.
What does labor think it is?
The truth of the matter is that there's a critical problem with the economy. There's a problem with the economy, which the government is not saying enough truth of. So and you can't get to know what exactly it is.
Does labor think it's deregulation?
As it is, it's beyond deregulation because they quoted the price of 86 naira 50 kobo, and they said they were subsidizing by about 12 naira. So if you calculate that, that's less than 100 naira. That's about 98 point something. And then you move to 145. There's even no justification, no template. The PPRA, as they are said, they are supposed to be the technical body that will set the template. No member of the public has been informed.
But you just heard the minister say there
what is the rationale?
That board is being reconstituted.
No. What's even the rationale behind this? If it's being reconstituted, who put forward the 145 naira?
Is your faction of labor in a position to actually pull through? Many have said, look, if you don't have those critical unions with you, you can't sustain this for 2 weeks.
It's not. First, two is the workers in the respective sector and is in general Nigerian people. I'm sure you've gone out there to gauge the pulse of every Nigerian. This period is a very critical period for very ordinary people, whether they are wage earners, whether they are informal workers. That's a statement of fact. the economy is biting very hard on people.
And is labor going to shut down the economy?
No, so I'm coming. So first, it's very difficult for workers to make ends meet. Minimum wage, 18,000. Cost of living on the high. Cost of food, very high. Cost of housing, very high. Cost of transportation, very high. Whether you are a worker, that you are working for government, whether you are a worker working for private sector, whether you are an informal worker, you go through this pain. So that's a fact. Whether you are JRO, whether you are Wabba, you can't shy away from that fact. And I think that's the motivation to say, look, we must use the opportunity provided by this price increase to let government know exactly how the Nigerian worker, what is the situation of the Nigerian worker, what is the situation of the Nigerian people, so that as they address this issue of petroleum pricing, they must also think through.
By shutting down the economy?
You need to get government to embrace dialogue.
I've been thinking about your sector. You're from the textile sector, and that's one sector that created jobs for a lot of Nigerians and even revenue to the economy. If it's been trying, government is trying to revive it, and you're shutting down, going on strike, how does that help your own sector of the economy?
Let me tell you, there is the thing that you have a responsive government. This government came on the platform of change, and we are very expectant in all sectors. We are very expectant in the petroleum sector that something was going to change. We are very expectant that something was going to change in the textile sector. I'm in the textile sector. Nothing significantly has happened. And so for us, even this strike also provides an opportunity to continue our advocacy that government must focus and commit to his own pronouncement, commit to his own pledges to Nigerian people. And one of the pledges is that we will fix the industrial sector. We will fix the textile sector. No, I agree. If you don't feel that pain, is it by shutting down? No, I agree. But the truth of the matter is that if you also don't do certain shock, certain changes won't come.
You know what I'm saying, what I'm looking at, so that it does, sometimes when you ask some of these questions, people, get you wrongly. The thing is that you're right about your argument, but what happens when you're talking about a nation that is broke? And you look at Venezuela, because you just heard what the Minister of Information has said. Venezuela, another OPEC nation, has just declared a state of emergency on its economy. If labor continues like this on the back of no money, where do you think Nigeria is headed?
As an individual, if you are broke, what do? As an individual, you try to readjust the way you live.
Is it not akin to readjustment?
I'm coming. You try to readjust the way you live. You try to readjust the way you earn income. As a nation, what are we doing to reposition, to readjust our economy? One of the critical areas that will give hope to the people, like you said, textile still remains one of the critical sectors to lift people out of poverty because it's labor intensive. We could identify agriculture offers great potential.
If the argument turns and we say the people have taken the pain, the bitter pill, and labor is saying we want political office holders to do something about their earnings, don't you think that you have more support from the people instead of looking at a nation that is already broke and you say people should stop work?
There are many issues. One of them is what you raised. It will solve the problem. We've seen President Buhari commendably fight corruption. That has not addressed the question of the economy. That has not addressed the problem of manufacturing. We face smuggling. It has not been eradicated. We face high cost of input. That has not been eradicated. So
for the last 1 year, for this period
we face high rate of interest rate for manufacturing. In China, in Europe, everywhere you borrow at single digit. In Nigeria, you borrow at 2022. So those problems are there. But what we are saying is that, yes, this is a difficult moment. What significantly has happened in the last 1 year to tell people in all sectors that this government is different?
So this period that you're on strike, that you're shutting down the economy, would you be okay if you're not paid? So that they can take that money and put back to boost the economy?
He has a question about the pay of political office holders. How much are you talking about with the workers' pay? If you want to make that sacrifice. The political office holders are in a position to make the enormous sacrifice for the nation. Already they have looted enough. Already, they have taken enough from our collective treasury. They can even go on serving the nation without collecting money. But for us as workers...
Do you think Nigerians will trust Labour again, having learned that they've collected this 2 billion naira the last time and they've not paid back?
I was watching Komejo Ajero. The truth of the matter is that the money was borrowed from bank. I don't know the specific.
Do you think Nigerians will trust Labour?
I'm coming.
We have to go.
No, I'm coming. The money is borrowed from bank and the money must be repaid. And I'm also happy that he addressed the issue of operational challenges that the labor transport company face in terms of implementation, making it difficult. So once those operational challenges are resolved, the buses are there, they will continue to operate, and they can pay back the money. So I don't think...
They were bought for 2 billion naira?
I'm happy...
They were bought for 2 billion naira, the buses.
That's the facility, yes, and the buses and all of those things were there. But I'm not aware, to put it on record, I'm not aware that Labour has asked for moratorium or for forgiveness.
All right.
The truth of the matter is
Ismail
the money
Bello,
and it will be paid.
Former State Secretary, NLC, and Deputy General Secretary, Textile Union. Thank you for coming on this morning, comrade.
It's my pleasure.
We'll be back after the break. Don't go away.